The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most spectacular show on earth.
Excuse me, sir, can we help you? You know circuses?
1931. It was the Benzini brothers.
That's the most famous circus disaster of all time. Are you telling me that you were there for...
Right in the middle of it.
Welcome to the most spectacular film review on earth, right here on Kiwi with Lena Lamont. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Wammo.
Water for Elephants.
Yes. It's an adaptation of a novel. Probably half our audience will have read the book. My sister had read the book, so she was able to tell me whether it was faithful to that book, to the book or not. Turns out that it was largely. But for me, I'm looking at it purely as a film.
Yep.
And I have to say, circuses are fantastic fodder for the cinematic world.
It was a fantastic HBO TV series called Carnival.
Yes,
Running a
indeed.
circus. No,
it is.
Really cool.
And this film is pretty good as well in terms of throwing you right into 1930s. We're in the depths of the Depression. So strictly speaking, nobody's allowed to be drinking, but they seem to be managing quite well on champagne. This is a little bit like Boardwalk Empire as well, which we've spoken about, right?
Yeah.
But of course, then you've got the grandeur and the excitement of the circus lifestyle. And of course, for the audience going in, it's spectacle, it's wondrous, it's massive elephants, it's horses, it's beautiful women, it's trapeze artists. Behind the scenes, of course, you invariably have your brutal circus owner who will won't think twice about turfing you off the moving train if you're no longer the act that he wants to keep in his circus.
Yeah.
So there's plenty going on there.
And let's bear in mind, this is before TV, and by and large before film flexes were out there for people.
The circus
to
coming to
as well.
town would have been a massive deal. That's absolutely right. Whereas now, we're a little bit spoilt for choice with everything, aren't we?
Or now circuses, particularly animal circuses, not very PC.
Well, that's right. And there aren't as many animal circuses. I guess we get the Cirque du Soleil, and it's all very much more people doing amazing acrobatics and that sort of thing. So this is really old school. So first off, we've got Robert Pattinson from Twilight. And I'm so relieved to say that he does not reprise his Edward Cullen role. And
not shimmering.
Well, he's not shimmering, thank heavens. He has a bit of colour in his cheeks, and he's a much more sort of sturdy, robust, handsome young man who's destined for veterinarian school. All of a sudden, tragedy strikes his family. He takes off into the wider world, seek his fortune, jumps aboard a train. When the train stops, he realizes he's jumped aboard the Benzini brothers train, and he sort of becomes the family vet, if you will.
Wow.
But of course, there's got to be a little bit of complexity there. He falls in love with the boss's wife.
Now, who's the boss's wife?
Well, that's Reese Witherspoon.
That's right. Now, interesting thing about a previous movie a long time ago, he actually played Reese's son.
I know, somebody had mentioned that. That's a little bit eerie.
Yeah.
I have to say that even though there's no question that there is a significant age gap between them, it's not gross, it's not ghastly, and I think partly because Reese Witherspoon plays a woman of uncertain age. I mean, you don't go, she's so like 40 or
She
whatever.
could be 25 or 35.
She totally could be. And because I think she's quite diminutive and terribly pretty and blonde and dainty, and he's strapping, it works. It works quite nicely. It does not seem like a cougar or a Desperate Housewives-ish sort of relationship. So obviously you've got to have your third person in this love triangle, and he's probably the best thing in this whole film. There's an Austrian actor called Christoph Waltz, who you will have seen in Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, yes.
So he's the dude who, Quentin Tarantino, honestly, isn't he great at, rebooting people's careers or dragging them? I mean, this guy's got a huge career in German film, but suddenly Quentin Tarantino says, I'll make you a star.
Yeah.
Puts him in Inglourious Bastards. He won Best Academy Award Supporting Actor and Cannes and Golden Globe and everything.
Yeah.
He's really good in this film at playing somebody who has this really inner, nasty, sinister side, but actually is a man of pathos as well. There is a vulnerability about him. He is scared that his wife might fall in love with another man and leave him, and it's actually quite nice. Well, maybe nice is the wrong word. I mean, he is a terrible, abusive kind of circus owner, but it's great. It's multi-layered and it's nice.
Okay, and plenty of water for the elephants?
Well, probably not enough. Well, actually, giving it away a little bit, the elephant drinks moonshine.
Oh,
So I don't know
see.
where the water thing came from. I
Yeah.
haven't read the book, so I don't know what that was all meant to be about. It's not really drinking water very much.
Okay.
So I think a film for animal lovers as well, because the circus scenes are great.
Yeah, although I only caught sort of halfway through the news story about some kind of controversy about, I don't know, either those elephants or where those elephants came from, and how those elephants have been treated in the past or now. I don't know, but anyway.
Do you
there
mean
is some
specifically
controversy.
specifically the elephants from this film, or you mean in general?
Well, this film was mentioned in
They
the
made
news
quite a
item.
big deal, you see, in publicity and whatnot about how these
Yeah,
animals
I'm
were
sure they
treated
were
really
for the-
well
for the
and
film, yeah.
all that sort of thing.
Maybe
And
maybe they've gone back to their old life. Maybe that's the problem.
maybe.
Yeah.
So it's an enjoyable film. I mean, there's nothing startlingly clever about it. The plot trajectory is pretty straightforward, but it's an enjoyable film. It's a good story, and the performances are solid.
Okay, good. Oh, that is Water for Elephants.
Hello, K&L Enterprises, how can I help?
Hi, can I please talk to James?
James in IT?
James, yeah.
Sorry, James resigned a few weeks ago.
James is gone.
Yeah, James has gone.
That can't be not very good.
This is a totally different ball game. I know we say that a lot, segueing from one film to the next, but honestly, this is totally different. This is a New Zealand film.
Desert.
It's called Desert, D-E-S-E-R-T, and you're absolutely right, speaking earlier, it's not D-E-S-S-E-R-T, which would be the pudding. However, what I realised after seeing this film is, basically, we've got this, it's set in Auckland, this beautiful Korean girl is our protagonist, and she's engaged to this Pākehā guy called James, who does a runner on her. And so, in effect, she's abandoned or deserted. See what they did there? So it's desert and it's dessert. And I don't know specifically whether the director, Stephen Kang, expected it just to be the abandoned sort, but given that the film is very, very languid, it's very subtle.
Auckland turns into a desert.
It kind
and
of
the-
almost
the
does
wildness.
for her. No, well, this you see, this is exactly right. You know, that's
Lots of imagery going on.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's not an unrealistic analogy at all.
Yeah.
So it is a bit like this poor woman is suddenly abandoned in what's ostensibly a foreign culture, a foreign land for her, shunned by her Korean community to a degree because she's pregnant, and her fiancé has disappeared. And so in a way, yes, she's stuck in a bit of a desert. So I think actually the title works on a couple of levels. And it's really nice seeing Auckland shot like an art house movie, because it almost could be anywhere. I mean, if we didn't know it was Auckland, you wouldn't know. It's not all like Devonport and the Sky Tower and kind of, like Lovebirds and that, where we're all about, this is Auckland, looking like Auckland.
Yeah.
It's not like that at all. It's basically just happens to be the setting because that's where our predominant Korean community is, and that's where the story was set.
Yeah. And so it sounds like you like it.
I did like it. It's a difficult watch, partly because the subject matter isn't exactly a laugh a minute. But the performances are so subtle, and there is not a whole heap of dialogue. There's a lot of just sort of watching. The actress's name is Jane Kim. There's a lot of just watching Jane meandering through her life and sort of feeling the desolation. And I guess this isn't probably really selling it to you.
No.
But her performance, first screen performance ever, is extraordinary.
I was just looking at the trailer, and I almost did a double take because I thought it said written and directed by Stephen King, but no, Stephen Kang.
Yes, Stephen Kang, who is a local Korean Kiwi
Yeah.
director and writer of this film.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of think it's an important watch because it's a really nicely made New Zealand film. It's, as I say, there's a lot of photography and the feel of it is very sort of art house, European or Asian art house. It's not particularly a happy story, but it's good performances. Marek Samic is really good as James, the dude who takes off. There's just a real subtlety about the whole thing.
Okay.
So it's not like Lovebirds or
No.
Sione's Wedding or any of the other films where people fall in love in our fine city.
Desert is the name of it, and it's to be playing at the Rialto. That one. Thanks very much, Lena Lamont.
Always a pleasure.
See your film reviews in the Sunday Star Times and also lenalamont.wordpress.com.
좋겠다.
킹부? 아, 근데 그쪽은 이제 어떻게 할 거예요?